Number 6 is that it must contain the number of hours you worked in a week. So if any of these are missing from your letter might be rejected or points deducted from your CRS score, and you do not want that. So if your employer refuses to give you a work reference letter, don't panic. There are other ways. Can you focus on me? Baby, can you focus? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chioma if you're new here, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. On this channel, I make lifestyle videos and videos that would help your immigration to Canada smoother. Okay, so if that sounds fun to you, subscribe and join the gang and join the community. Okay, so today's video is a very important one, and a lot of you have actually been asking this question, and I'm here once again to deliver. Today we'll be talking about reference letters. So if you are applying for Canada PR, one of the most important documents to get is a work reference letter. Okay, this is the document that is going to prove that you indeed have the work experience that you have claimed to have while you were entering the express entry pool. So it is very important. How many people get delayed or even denied just because their work reference letters did not meet IRCC's requirements, and you don't want that to be your story. In today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to write the perfect work reference letter for your PR application, what to include, what to avoid. I will even share a template at the end of this video for free, so be sure to watch till the end. Okay, I will also be talking about how to go about your reference letter if your employer has decided to become a killjoy and refuse to give you your work reference letter. Okay, so what exactly is a work reference letter? A work reference letter is a document from your current or previous employer that confirms the details of your employment. It is not the same as a regular recommendation letter. So instead of talking about your character and your work ethic, IRCC wants to see factual details that proves that your work matches your claimed NOC code and that you really did the work experiences that you are claiming points for. Let's go over what IRCC expects your reference letter to include. Number 1, it must be printed on the company's letterhead. So you cannot just use one random A4 paper. No, it must be printed on the company's letterhead. 2, it must include the company's contact information. That includes their address, their phone number, email, or website if they have a website. Then it must include your name, your job title, your employment dates. So it's going to be able to say you started on so day to current, or you started from so date to so date. So it must contain the date of employment. Number 6 is that it must contain the number of hours you worked in a week, and it must also contain your annual salaries and benefits. So you have to write your salary, not like weekly or monthly, everything, how much you earn per annum. That's what you're going to write. And also, if it comes with benefits, you should also include that. The number 8 thing that your letter must include would now be the main job duties, your main responsibilities in that role. It is very important, and it must match closely with the duties under your NOC code. If any of these are missing from your letter might be rejected or points deducted from your CRS score, and you do not want that. Now let's walk through how to actually write a proper work reference letter. Step 1 is that you have to start with getting your company's letterhead paper, which means that it's going to have your company's logo and their address or like contact information and website. Number 2 is that you're going to write the date that you are preparing that letter. That's the date that you're going to write on it. Then you have to write work reference letter, or you just write reference letter. You know, it's not compulsory, it's optional actually, but it kind of makes your letter look presentable. Begin with, this is to certify that, or this is to confirm that. Okay, then your name, Dr. Chioma my name, was employed with Federal Medical Center Asaba as a house officer from 4th October so year to 5th October so year. So you don't have to be, they don't have to include she was intelligent, neat, attended to patients nicely, well spoken. No, nobody cares about that. They just need this information, okay? Not to mention if it was a full-time job. I think for a full-time job it has to be nothing less than 35 hours per week. You have to write that just after you've written that it was a full-time job. Then you write the numbers of hours you spent on that job in a week. The next line would clearly state the amount that you were paid per annum. So now you write she earned or he earned. Mind you, if you are going to be the one to prepare this letter, you are not going to be you're going to be writing it in as if it's your employer that is writing it, because not like most employers, they don't have time to come and start drafting the whole thing. They will ask you to go and draft it, bring it to them so that they can, you know, stamp and do all of that, right? What most of my MDs did was that they asked me to just send them a sample and they got their secretary to write it. So I mean, that also works, but I was always open to writing it myself and sending it over, because I mean, I just get to write exactly what I wanted to write. So that would be like, during this period she worked so hours and earned so thousand naira per annum. The seventh step is now to write your main duty. This is the most important section in your reference letter, because you have to include about 5 to 8 bullet points highlighting your duties in that company, and these duties must match your NOC code, and you must use professional and specific language. For example, let's assume that you are writing a work reference letter as a medical officer. Okay, when you get to this part of the reference letter, what this place should look like is conducted patient consultation and developed treatment plans. Then the next step, ordered and interpreted diagnostic tests. Next one, provided emergency medical care and managed chronic illnesses. So you just be listing it, you know, you just write like 5 or 8. Number 8, you must close with a statement like this: if you require further information, please feel free to contact us at, you must put a phone number and an email address that they can contact that is working. It has to be working, because IRCC will actually confirm. So then the 9th step is to now end it with your supervisor's signature or your HR's signature or your MD, like whoever is your superior. They should write their full name and put a signature there, and then they must stamp with the company stamp if available. Or like, I mean, what company does not have a stamp? Just to be safe, please tell them to stamp it for you. Now let's get to the mistakes to absolutely avoid when writing your reference letter. And then if you're not the one writing it, okay, let's assume you send someone, because let's say you worked in Onitsha and now you are currently working in Abuja, right? And you do not want to travel all the way and then come back. So you send someone, or you call the company that you worked with and be like, oh, okay, hi, I'm so person, I worked here so time. Please, I need you to do this, right? After they tell them that, please, or when you're done, before they stamp it, because typically it will not be the MD or it will not be your superior that would draft it. So when you get somebody that would draft it, either the secretary or whoever, tell them, please don't take it to whoever is going to stamp it first. Like, after you're done, send it to me, let me confirm. Guys, this particular thing saved me twice, because most of these people, like I mentioned earlier, they would write, most of these companies kind of have a template that they use for writing random letters, right? So they will just assume that that's what you want. So you must, number one, send them word for word what you want, right? And after they are done, ask them, please send it back to me first before you send it for to whoever is going to stamp it, or the MD or him. Go through it, make sure that they spelled your names correctly, make sure that everything is correct, because people can make mistake, especially when you're not the one preparing it. Go through it word for word, make sure that it covers all these aspects that we've talked about before you give them the go ahead. That reminds me, you can also add IRCC's contact address if you want. You know how a letter contains address, you can also add it, but it's not compulsory. But I added it to all my reference letters. I added IRCC's address. I didn't include it earlier on because it's actually not compulsory. So here are the biggest mistakes that people make. Number one, using a recommendation style letter instead of a reference letter. Okay, don't make that mistake. Number two mistake is forgetting to include job titles. Another huge mistake that people make is copying their NOC duties, that's NOC duties, word for word. When you are writing your NOC duties, right, you have to make sure that they align, they are aligned with the responsibilities that that IRCC listed under your NOC code on their website. Because every NOC code on the IRCC website, they have expected duties that you should have. Best way to find your NOC code, let's say you are I don't know anything about tech, but like let's say you have one tech job like that, and you go to the IRCC website and you couldn't find the name of that work, like the name of that job, right? For instance, now let's say content creation. I'm not saying that you would find it there. I'm just using this as an example. Let's say you are a content creator and you go on IRCC website and you couldn't find any job that says content creation. What you should do is now go through the duties, right? Maybe something very similar to content creation, and you look through the duties and you see that this job role, let's say it's called script writer, or let's say it's called social media manager, for instance. But you see that all these duties here that they are listing that this person must have done or is doing, they are the things that I actually do in this my current role, or these are the exact things I did at this previous job role. That is your NOC code. Another example, as a medical officer, when you go to IRCC's website, you will not find medical officer there. You will not find it. What you will find is general practitioner. But how do I know that that is my NOC code? Because every single duty listed under that general practitioner duties, I have done them. They are the things that I have done in the past, and they were the things I was doing at that time. So that was what made me realize that this is actually my NOC code. Okay, I digress, but I just felt that somebody needed to hear that. Copying these duties word for word, it makes it look fake. They would flag you. They would think that you didn't even know what you did. You had to go and copy what they've given you word for word. So that's a red flag. So you shouldn't copy the duties word for word. You have to change it, but it must still sound professional. So another mistake to avoid is not including your salary or weekly hours. Another grave mistake is submitting a letter without the company's contact or a signature. If your employer refuses to give you a work reference letter, don't panic. You can still prove your work experience by submitting alternative documents. These include 1. Appointment letter or offer letter. You can also include pay slips, employment contracts. You can also use promotion letters. You can also use tax documents. But then make sure that you include a letter of explanation explaining in details why they have refused to give you a reference letter and why you're using these alternative documents to prove your work experience. And that should be it. Okay, if you know my story, you know that the third hospital that I worked at, where I did my NYC, the MD did not even agree to even pick my calls at all. But thank God, because I had been proactive in that before I left the hospital and the state that I served, I met the secretary and I told her that I collected her number, and I told her that I would be calling her in a couple of months' time to help me with something. And she was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. And that was what saved me, because when I got ITA and I tried to reach out to my MD, she, ignored me completely. I reached out to the secretary and she was able to draft it. Of course, I sent her the templates, like word for word. Then she wrote all those things and then she stamped for me, and that was how I didn't have to go back to Ekiti to come and start begging somebody or to come and start crying. And do you get? So pro tip, if you are working at a place right now and you know that you'll be leaving that place very soon, you might be moving to another city or even to another country, and you know that sometime down in the future you are going to need a reference letter from this company, I'm going to advise that you meet the secretary or you meet the admin, okay, and collect their numbers. Like, even some of these places I didn't even go there in person because I had like somebody's number, admin's number, somewhere ahead. So that was how I handled mine. So right now on the screen, I'm going to include a template of a proper work reference letter for your Canada PR application. And yeah, that's all with the video, guys. I hope this was detailed as always. Let me know what you think in the comment section. If you don't even have anything to say, just drop me a heart to show that you appreciate how detailed this video is. And if you have any questions, feel free to write them, drop them in the comment section. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't at this point. Like, do you like, please just subscribe, because I actually give you useful information. I mean, we don't gatekeep over here. So subscribe, thumbs up this video. It goes a long way. It helps YouTube recommend it to more people that need it. Send this video to anyone you know that is preparing to enter the express entry pool or has just gotten an ITA. Send it to them and they will thank you later. Okay, thanks for watching once again. Bye.